Hello.
It's Friday night once again.
Yes, Friday night.
And aren't you so excited to be here on Friday night? I mean, there's so many things you could be doing, like other than live.
Oh, there's.
But you just,
Nothing
I know,
else
it's
I would
just,
rather
you have to like this.
Yeah.
Because this is a great topic anyway. And
Yes.
this is like one of those topics that I always say everybody has, it's got the world in uproar.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? I mean, scary stuff, some stuff that's not so scary, some stuff that's helpful, some stuff that's on the horizon, but it's wild. It is absolutely wild. And I think the sense is kind of, it's got into the atmosphere of that creaking chair. We're going to get rid of that chair one day, I promise.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I move around.
And her favorite word is, I'm sorry.
Oh
so.
my god, I have
But
to that.
But the big thing is that you came across some things too, right? In
Yeah.
your time, it's like, and you found yourself to be like, holy.
Yeah, taken back by it. Like,
Yeah, it's insane,
It is.
and it's a little bit scary. But we're gonna get into some of the things as people actually come on, like some housekeeping things first. Let's go on what's going on in the markets because everybody is. This is strange. So just so you know, the government reported today that the jobs that they increased the amount. I don't know what the hell's going on because you cannot make sense of anything today. Like you go on TikTok and I'm a TikTok person. I'm sorry. We did that thing a long time ago. I just happen to like it because
Yeah.
I guess I get the stuff seems less filtered.
Yeah.
And I feel like I get more information. So
Oh, I
like
love
you
TikTok.
talk about like they talk about like economics and just like everyday life people. So it's like you kind of get like I always like to get like an inside scoop on like what's going on the street because that's like where you get the news now. It's like
Oh yeah.
it seems
That's
like
how I
it's
know.
more reliable. Like I don't know. I feel like when it's like you get and like the way things are like people are like really saying this. It's like people feel dislodged from like the reality of like what's being reported, what's not being, like all this stuff. But the
Yeah.
big thing is, and the news of the day is obviously AI, because there's a lot of things going on. What happened with TikTok? You know about that.
TikTok?
Yeah, recently they took,
Oh my god, they took away the sound, like artist sound.
So-
Universal.
yeah, Universal.
Yeah.
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 And what, like, do you know some of the artists that were taken off of it?
Yeah, I know Taylor Swift for one, because a lot of my videos are muted now.
Yeah, if you haven't caught her TikTok, definitely filled with that. But I think Drake, right?
Yeah,
well,
Taylor
so many
Swift,
major
Drake.
artists.
I think, I can't really think. Oh, Olivia Rodrigo,
Okay.
Demi Lovato,
Yeah.
just like a lot of like popular artists.
And you
I
just-
don't want to say any. I know those five. I don't want to say any.
Yeah, I mean,
Just in case.
Just in case you're wrong.
Yeah.
But the big thing is that those basically. But let's talk about like what's going to happen next, because one of the things on the finance front is companies like AMD, Nvidia, Microsoft, Google have absolutely Amazon have exploded. Even their stock prices keep accelerating. Nobody really knows. The rest of the stock market isn't doing so hot. But it seems like to be Apple has really propelled this market to do crazy things. So like the whole AI revolution is really reshaping finance. And it's going to impact real estate. So let's figure out how that's going to impact real estate. Because I do think AI, I mean, from an application standpoint, and I won't say that, I've always experimenting with technology, so I've had some success doing some things with AI and helping advance the whole entire spectrum of what's possible with AI. But I also talk about some of the things that absolutely scary. So there's some scary stuff.
Oh yeah.
And Netflix came out with a series on AI and robotics and how that's changing and shaping. Something that you guys should catch.
Yeah.
But it's going to be interesting. So This one, you ran into something which is something like how it could parlay itself into recommendations. And I have some things about what's just recently come out, and it's freaky. It is absolutely freaky.
No, it is.
And so what did you come across? Well, give me some of the things that you came across that freaked you out almost to the degree. And I noticed there's a little blue thing there as well. So these are like, they consider themselves verified, right?
Yeah. No, I guess so. I'll get into
Yeah.
it. So this week I noticed that a popular social media platform that begins with an I.
Yeah, we don't say too much more than that.
It has a new feature where it created 30 different chat bots with different personalities.
And they're actually accounts, right?
Yeah, they're actually accounts. You could go on the accounts. They have they have a lot of followers and likes and comments, and it's like an actual person almost.
It
that
is,
you're in interaction with.
But it isn't.
It's not.
And
no.
it's freakish to say the least, to
It
say
is.
how this has changed so much. Like in the last year, it's like, what is going on?
Mm-hmm. I
I
know,
don't-
it is crazy.
And what you explored some of that?
Yeah, so I actually messed around with it a little bit myself to
Just to get some personal recommendations.
no, to see what it was about. So the one that I was messing around with is called Ride or Die Older Sister. That was the personality
Okay.
type. So
So just to clarify that, so each of the profiles come up with a different personality type.
yes, so there are.
So they're going to
there-
respond based
Differently.
upon differently.
Yeah.
That's
There's-
crazy. Respond differently.
Brotherly jokester, motivational speaker, relationship coach, a pro golfer. There's like so many different ones.
And which one did you? Not to get too specific onto what you actually tested, because this is. It did come off. So it gave. So you came across it giving advice, correct?
Yeah, yeah. But it was like I was interacting with one of my friends. Like it was like spill the tea, and then,
Really?
yes, and then the way it texted, it wasn't like so formal.
Uh-huh.
It was like for instance, it said no, but like with a bunch of O's at the end. Where like when you think you,
So it replied using
it was
like text that someone would typically. This
like
is
how I
like
would actually talk to one of my friends. Yeah,
so.
it was insane.
And what I didn't even know that, and that's like. But this is a larger. So we don't want to use names because I don't, implicate. But
No.
the question is, you said it gave advice at some points,
Yeah.
and would you say the advice that was given would replace that of a psychiatrist?
It was definitely good advice, but
What determines what's good, though? I mean, that's where it gets interesting. It's like who, and that's the part that scares me. It's
yeah.
it's not. I guess you're going to get an unbiased approach. Let's call it everybody. I guess in these instances, I think some people, because it's AI driven. I mean, obviously, but knowing.
Yeah.
The question is do you feel like it's accessing data from your app to say that this is how you interact with your friends and maybe that's how it's responding?
That could maybe be.
Does that scare you at all?
That does, because like, how does it know?
Right. So
Yeah.
it can, and that's where I think, and we're going to get into how this impacts real estate because this is kind of an interesting thing. And some of the things that I've worked through recently that have absolutely will shock you, what we can do now. And because it's, we're really bridging. What do you feel? Now, obviously, you've moved into your next phase of life, what do you feel like specifically this means for the future?
Honestly,
Without being so dire,
yeah.
because I know off camera we had spoken about that quickly, and I think I was like, well, maybe it's not as horrible. But do you think that? Well, let me frame it for you so it makes it easier. I'll make the framing easier so you kind of understand it that way. Do you feel that this impacts your future in any way?
Oh yeah.
I mean,
sure.
do you feel like it's going to affect the professional world?
Totally. Yeah.
And does that place a fear into you, like as far as like?
Yeah, I mean, you don't, like, for instance, like these 30 different personalities, I would have never thought that something like that would happen, that different personalities you could talk with. So, like, what else are they going to do from here?
Well, I won't say this, but there was actually a thing that came up in my feed that you could create AI employees.
AI employees?
Yes.
Oh my god.
It was an ad. I was
really?
like, what? And there's a man that comes on who literally will train the AI to act as your employee.
Oh my god.
And will create, email, do everything.
That's crazy.
It was on. Go look at the research on TikTok.
Oh my god.
And I'm like, and if you haven't seen the wave of tech layoffs and all the things, this is where, and this is what scares me about it. I'll tell you what's the great part about it, and what's the scary part about it. Because, there are definitely benefits to having this technology. And, the funny thing is we just started talking about this a year ago.
I know.
And it's not even like that long. Like how things have, like it's accelerated. And obviously the things were being worked on behind the scenes, but now that it's come mainstream, we're starting to see AI become like this whole entire, like it is the absolute conversation. And, the scary thing is that because of what it's doing to, I think what it's changing is maybe it's changing the role of employment for now, but like in California, they're using AI cooks. They're using AI, cooks, yes.
What do you mean?
They're using AI to replace employees in a fast food restaurant.
So, it's like a robot?
They're using robotics.
Robots are cooking.
Robots to cooking.
Wow.
Robots are cooking, and it's going through a process that's like, what is happening? And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Like, this is happening. And I'm like, the acceleration of this is so fast. And like, the real thing now is that before, like, when you got a telephone call, you got an interaction, even newsrooms. So the New York Times announced this week that they're making an artificial intelligence newsroom. The actors and everybody that's on there will be all automated. I didn't tell you this before camera. I did this. So they're actually developing a news program. So New York Times is introducing. Now the question becomes is how, I can't say, and I could be honest with you in saying this, that I can't say for a certain degree that there is certain concerns that I have specifically about this stuff. Because it is a Pandora's box. So, like, there's going to be pushes in the next few months, regulation, this and that. The question really becomes now with regulation of this technology is how do you monitor it, even if it was regulated, in the degree that, like, it's going to matter to you, or you could actually thwart it, because it's so fast. And usually regulation, we come to know regulation in terms of like AI as like being more, more slow. And it's like, oh, there's someone there to monitor it. This is so fast that I don't know if there's anything like in the toolbox to monitor it. Then you have other countries, obviously, that can impact like the race, maybe not apply the same regulation. And the fact that they are not regulated could advance them so much further that it could be actually a danger.
Yeah.
So like where if you say, okay, this is the limitations on AI, there's going to be some actors out there who are going to obviously process things differently and say, well, if they thwart their attempts at regulating it and we don't regulate it, we'll be able to do far more because they're going to like put the brakes on it and we could still accelerate. And this is where it's going to be called the AI arms race is on. So we're really seeing, and I don't think the next 2 years is going to be absolutely wild. So if you strap in, so and that's why you see things like NVIDIA and the ability to now chip makers, CPU makers. There's such a demand now for this stuff that it's an arms race. It literally is an arms race in terms of technology. And I don't think that's going to stop from the real estate standpoint either.
No.
Because one of the things is that as the efficiency improves, today we just looked at, I just came across that, an AI news. And like we use, just so you know, we actually use a lot of this stuff right here. And it's just so interesting that we're able to do Amazon.
Yes, Amazon.
They're coming out. You got
where it's like a personal shopper.
Yes.
Yeah, that's like
AI for personal shopping. So I'm going to go. I forget the name of it, but I just had it up. But yeah, Amazon is really and it's really. There's some other things too about AI fakes. There are some companies out there that are trying to change that. So you had a recent story too about. Yeah.
Yeah. So there was these photos going around of Taylor Swift that were AI generated, and now I believe she's filing for a lawsuit.
And what's the lawsuit? Do you know the specifics of the lawsuit?
I don't know the specific lawsuit.
So it's basically an impersonation type of lawsuit, correct?
Yes, but I read that there are no federal laws that prohibits these types of images. Only a handful of them do. So if they're AI generated, there's no regulation for it.
The insane part about this, and I wish I could do it for you live, on how fast we could make 6,000 images probably in minutes. Mm-hmm. And the speed at which this moves, it's not like you could sit there and have to manipulate things. So
no.
The hell with Photoshop.
My God.
Photoshop is almost it is almost no need anymore.
Okay.
No, it is. It's like at one time, and that's. And we get into this thing, and we're gonna, obviously, being on a time crunch. But the interesting thing is that that's moving into the real estate world. Mm-hmm. And I mean, we began the process of obviously, we began the process, which I individually programmed. Thank God. Mm-hmm. So it's not like I outsource this stuff because I hate outsourcing everything. I like to go home and experiment. I'm like a mad scientist when it comes to this stuff. Yeah. It's like I'll announce it when I'm ready, after I've tested it out. But we're actually we are able to take. So obviously, in the process of creating data sets, now we're being able to analyze data sets to get more indicators to flash red and green on where housing or the real estate market is going much more rapidly. So when people are starting to evaluate property, I'm able to run a couple of scripts that will actually assemble data from thousands of sources at the same time. And then I could kind of track and analyze the data that's coming in because I see it as being, we have to do it. You have to do it. Thankfully, I've always had a technology kind of a front in doing everything that I do with every company that I've had, is like the core of the model. Always the core is like the technology is. So obviously knowing how to use these tools individually has to be a practice of being relevant in my space, in the real estate space.
Yeah.
So what we did is I'm able, and I think in the next couple of months we'll be officially pushing that out, that we'll be able to give real-time data based on a bunch of stats that, through an assortment of records, we'll be able to actually analyze data and know, like, is a house going to depreciate as a comparison to what other places, even in a hyper-local sense, where we could actually get data sets from multiple sources, and we can actually create a model for where the value will likely be in 3 months, 6 months, 6 years, 20 years, and we'll be able to actually shift around like demographic data to say whether, like there's migration patterns, people will migrate further south to Florida.
Yeah.
So is the area experiencing a migration pattern in or out, and how that's going to impact, like how it can impact based on some historical data, how it can impact the value. So yeah, I think next week we'll have something out. Not next week, next month. I'm working on perfecting it. So it's an interesting, yeah. But this is part of AI. To me, will help speed up the process of understanding and bring a degree of transparency to the whole entire valuation modeling, which so many people like there's still a lot of, like, how do you say, mystery behind, like, how a value is projected outward. And I think a lot of people, what happens is they get on the market, they don't understand how the market's shifting almost, and this is for the first time in a long time, because of data, real estate markets are more volatile than they've ever been. So that price movement will happen. Instead of taking like 2 or 3 months to happen, it happens in spans of weeks. Values could literally change, and we've seen it. I've seen values change in spans of a month.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like they could literally, 1 week, it could seem like there's an absolute stop and like prices will decelerate, and then the next week, a lot of it rate dependent. Some of it isn't. Some of it's location dependent, but we don't understand. That's one of the things we'll probably learn as time goes on. But the AI revolution is on, and I think
yeah, I don't know.
TV channels, this is insane. We run a couple of things.
What does it say?
So there is one thing.
Yeah.
Is that we could actually translate your voice that you're talking now. Like, you could do the listing presentations that you do. You obviously carried some of the presentations. We could actually do it in Mandarin.
My voice in Mandarin.
You will be talking Mandarin on this.
Okay.
So, like, you could literally change your voice, and it'll actually take your voice and change it to Mandarin.
Oh,
so you could, like...
I'd actually like to know what that, like...
Yeah. and about 60,000 languages.
Wow.
Which is insane. So, instead of, like, it's changing and shaping, like...
Oh, my God.
She's like, what? She's like...
It's just, like, little things that you thought, like, you never, like, would actually, like, me, like... Something like that, like my voice getting changed into another language. Like, I never thought.
The funny thing is that it's always happened in TV and in cinema. So, like, you've seen, like, if you just before you're talking, like, if you've seen, like, maybe like Godzilla movies back when, like, it'd be done in Japanese and then they switch to American and it's done in. So you like the mouths would mimic. But in this case, it mimics your mouth movement. So your mouth will look like it's saying talking Mandarin.
Okay.
So it'll actually transpose, like, just your lips to fill in the gap to say, and it'll mimic the language.
And it'll actually be
your voice.
My voice. Because I know I've seen a couple, like, movies and shows, like, in different languages, and I changed it to English. But I would, like, go back and forth just to see, like, how it would, like, look or sound. Like, I don't know.
Right.
I just like to check it out. And it would actually be like a different voice than the actual actor, though.
Right, it would change the voice. Now
Yes,
that's
now it's-
no more.
Wow.
And then even some of the AI now are replicating us on screen and like talking on screen. You wouldn't know the difference between us being actually live or actually
Wow.
we could. It's coming down to that, and that's where it's going to get interesting in the next few. I used to say a few years, but it's not. We're talking months. And the speed at which this has changed, the fact that, how it's going to impact, and as an industry, I think that's where things can change a lot, because I think there's a lot of like gaps within like information gathering in real estate, which a lot of people have. I've done some research on commercial real estate, and literally what it took to gather data on creating a valuation model for a particular property. We're able to do that in seconds. Seconds.
How long would that typically take?
Days.
Days.
It could take days of assembling data. I could do probably in about 45 seconds. So based on all sorts of things, using square foot averages around the region, we're able to create a model of value based on the latest data sets available and being able to tell you quickly and rapidly, basically, whether that's markets falling or raising. So like warehouse space is on the decline. And the only way we know that is that it does take some recent data that shows that warehouse space has declined in value. And you could implement that into the model, and we'll actually be able to say, in the last 6 months, based on data sets, a lot of people used to rely on a single data set. Now we have access to thousands of information sources, including news sources. So it'll take data sets, news sources, from multiple things, categorize it into a single layer for me, and I'll be able to come up with a much more accurate recent picture of what's going on. And that's happened. Don't you want to be
I didn't. It didn't. I kept my mouth. I didn't.
It's a long day. Yeah. It really is. No, but the big thing is that as AI is advancing, how does somebody address what the future is going to look like? And that's not a question for you. I think that's how we're going to kind of sum this up in saying, like, where does this, and obviously people could talk about this, because I think it's going to be, and I've said this, going into the new year, that this is going to be the most significant transformation, I think, since the Industrial Revolution. So I think what you're seeing here is the actual beginning of something much different.
Oh, yeah.
This is not something that I would tell you. I would say this is a fundamental shift in how everything is going to move, operate. Geez, how we're going to live our lives. You've already seen it's taken the role. I'm going to be honest with you. Some of the stuff, and I know that you talked about some of those bots and those fake. I call them fake because they're verified. That's the funny thing is they are verified accounts. So they actually come up as verified.
Yeah.
But it takes away a human component. And does this move us further away from people? Or does it move us closer? I don't think it moves us closer.
No.
Because taking advice from an AI bot that you would not know, I'm telling you, I think you said it was almost, there was not much distinction between a real person.
It was like my friend, but
an unbiased friend. How about that?
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like, at least, like, if I went to my friends for advice, they actually know, like, a story behind what I'm talking about, or they know what actually went down, like, what's happening. Like, this bot only knows when I'm telling it. So that's where it's like...
Well, you think it only knows what you're telling it. That's the real question.
You're right. It could
How does it access your data is really the question, because it is a social media app.
Yeah.
So is it accessing data?
It probably is, because Instagram does track what you're looking up. because
Right.
on your
Yes.
page it shows, yeah, so it probably is looking at like stuff that I like and comment and send to my friends and
So it's the messaging section that makes it really interesting. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. It's late. But this is going to change the world. And I'm telling you now, guys, if you're watching this and you're not paying attention to this facet of the world, it's going to shape the narrative of the next era. Mm-hmm. I really believe that. I don't know what anybody else thinks. Maybe I'm pushing the envelope here, but it's going to change the next era because it's just, from the creative standpoint, I just have not been able to do this much stuff. That's almost like, it's overwhelming to think like, and everybody knows because I'll sit there and fiddle with this stuff for hours about what you could do. It's just, it's like, it's never, like, just generating stuff. My sister hates it, by the way. My sister's watching this. She absolutely hates it. She's an artist by trade.
oh, so that
So she, and like, that's where, and like in the, you graduated with
digital design.
Digital design.
Yeah. So,
And now it's like digital design is.
yeah, it's like you don't even need. Honestly, you don't even need that subject anymore. I feel like in college.
Right? Does it change that?
Anybody could do it now. You don't need a degree to do something like that.
Yeah, it's just like what you plug in. Like, you
Yeah.
know, I mean, it's just like today's like the groundhog.
Oh my god.
It's like, and if you see things like this, I'll put this up there. Designed by AI since it's Groundhog Day.
Yeah, and that would normally take somebody like.
Yeah, but it's so
forever.
conceptually, so it's basically the groundhog telling everybody to back off.
Yeah.
Don't touch me. We've gone beyond the This is the funny thing is about that AI creation that I did, and the premise behind it was that it's such a like that we're taking weather advice from groundhog.
I know.
And here we are talking about AI, and this is the most primitive form of weather forecast.
I know.
Like 6 more weeks of winter. Really, we're talking about AI here. It's like seriously. So we're relying on a hog to tell us like, and we have so much. So I guess it's tradition. I don't know, like. So,
He said early spring, so I'm going.
yeah. So my AI basically focused on the fact that the the groundhog had enough of being handled.
Poor guy.
Because the poor thing probably just wants to like sleep.
I know. He's like, I don't want to wake up.
Wake up
Get
to pictures,
scared, yeah.
right? And then come out in the sun. Basically, the poor thing probably didn't even know whether it's winter or summer.
Right?
He's probably just says, they said if it's light, he runs back in because he's probably tired.
Yeah.
Just like anybody who's tired.
Realistically, yeah. Yeah.
So if it's still like cloudy out, he can still open his eyes.
Yeah.
But it is Groundhog Day, and that's, and I think you're celebrating a birthday today, right?
Yeah, my sister's birthday today.
That's what, she's 22?
She's
23?
turned 23 today.
23.
Yes.
See? Happy birthday.
Yes.
And
She's our groundhog.
You heard that here first.
Sorry,
She's the groundhog. She's born on Groundhog's Day. So it'll be February. I don't know. Is Groundhog's Day every February 2nd? Yes.
Yeah.
So she is actually Groundhog Day.
She is.
So
Yes. She gets celebrated on Groundhog.
okay. Just as long as they tell you you don't look like a groundhog, that's the main thing.
No. I'm kidding.
Are you kidding?
I am. My sister's gorgeous.
Yes. She's definitely just as funny and entertaining as you are.
Oh, yeah.
Probably even more so, right?
Oh, yeah, I'll give that to her.
But anyway, that's what we have. Slow connection. We got thwarted. You said the word. You said the word I. So now we're being throttled.
I know.
You can't talk about this stuff, especially when they're using their platform. It's like kind of like a little censorship there, but anyway, we're not going to say that.
We love you.
Yes. Mark, take it easy on us, okay? So we're just feeding the information. All right. But anyway, that's our Friday report for this week, and I think as we move forward, we're going to see how AI is going to shape the future.
Yes.
And we do some of our announcements
Yeah.
on that.
I
I
know.
haven't officially gave anything on that, but I will be.
Yeah.
Definitely be doing something.
Yeah. I know. I can't wait.
Can't you?
I can wait.
You can't wait. But anyway, that's what we have for tonight. And like I said, Lexi, happy birthday. And everybody else is celebrating a groundhog birthday. As long as they don't give you like a wood chip cake. You're good. I promise. But anyway, have a great night, everybody. I'm Anthony Lucidello, broker owner, and you're
Terry Cavedo,
PR.
PR.
There you go.
Yes.
All right. So anyway, you have a great night. Happy Friday and happy Groundhog's Day.
Yes.